feel very close to this thing.
I feel great.
I thought we started. I was ready to rock and roll.
All right.
I think that should be good.
Hi, I'm Austin Eartham.
And I'm Taylor Patton. Welcome to Kitchen Table Podcast.
We're here to motivate, educate, and relate to you guys, sharing our stories, helping you get 1% better in all areas of your life. Welcome to episode number 78. We're going to be talking about self-assessments and all assessments.
Yeah, we're good. This light just bothers me, but it's fine.
We got to get some curtains.
You gotta get blackout lights. Curtains, blackout lights. Blackout curtains.
Either way,
That's the assessment I'm taking right now.
Can't bring it all to you, man. Ain't got it all.
What do you mean?
I ain't got
We're
it all.
getting couches and tables. We can't get curtains.
Nope. Spent too much money already. Anyways, news this week? Anything new?
I don't think so.
I ain't got anything new either, except for new table, new couch, I guess. That's it.
Yeah. I forgot my water bottle at work. I was just thinking about that because I didn't get the one.
Parched, are you?
Yeah.
It happens.
30 minutes in the sauna.
Yeah, that'll definitely. Have you got your?
The cold tub?
Yeah.
I just set it up last night.
So you haven't used it yet?
No.
Is it
gonna
just
use
sit
tomorrow
outside?
morning. Yeah.
What is it set at? Is it constantly
I haven't-
refueling the water, or how does it work?
No, it just sits in there. It's good for 3 days.
So you just fill the water and then.
Is what it says. I just filled it up. I put ice in there. I haven't looked at it. I didn't have time to look at it today.
You fill it with a hose, or
No, I just put 5-gallon bucket.
you just dump it in?
Yeah.
Does it come with it? Or you just get a 5-gallon bucket?
No. Romy has one.
No. First point.
Yeah. So I just use that. And,
So you put cold water in it and then threw ice in it too?
yeah.
Threw ice from your fridge or
Yeah, we have like ice maker
ice
thing.
maker? Interesting. I wonder how
I
cold
would
it would be. Does it say a temperature gauge on it?
I got one.
Oh, I see.
Well, I just bought one when I bought it.
Oh, it can't ask
There's
if you want one?
Yeah, there's a few things.
Nice. That's smart.
Yeah, like I bought the lid.
Yeah, that's probably good too. So when
Yeah.
you're gonna use it tomorrow morning, you said?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Send me a video. You gonna go in underwear?
I was
swim trunks?
thinking about it. I forgot my swim trunks in Vegas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Where are my cheetah trunks in Vegas?
That was like 10 months ago. 9 months ago. Whoop.
Yeah, and then I got one in the cold. It says like, what do I need swim trunks for?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Can't believe
So
that's
no,
something
I'm
that lost there.
just going on my underwear. I mean, it's basically swim trunks.
It's gonna be a cold morning though.
It'll be good.
Well,
I have to be work till like 9. I'm gonna try and push it 9:30 so I can go and get that stuff from Men's Warehouse.
The wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's news. The wedding's coming too fast.
Yep, Will's getting married, baby.
He needs to push it back another year.
Tell him that, see what he says. Anyways, let's do some self-assessing here. In our newsletter, we talked about April and how April can be a challenging month.
Challenging.
Yeah. Just because it's
Yeah,
like
it's
in the
true.
middle,
April
'cause
showers bring May flowers.
I literally wrote that. I know that's how you stole that. But yeah, it happens. Start clipping.
I know.
But
it's literally on my goal list.
now we gotta let's talk about that. What's on the goal list then for first of all, what did you accomplish in April, do you think?
It's in my other book. One thing, I started reading the Bible every day, journaling.
Yeah.
So that's so it's 21. So what's that? 2 weeks? A week and 10 days. 10 days right there.
April 21st?
Yeah, was that 10
Yeah.
days?
Yeah, about a week ago.
So like assessment, or you want to talk about goals first? You're talking about assessment first.
Yeah,
they go together, but
assessment from April. I was just thinking, what did you accomplish in April? But also the whole. I mean, like whatever you want to time period. I don't care.
I'm trying to think back to my goals.
You should write them down. Maybe you
Oh,
remember.
I did. I just don't think I.
If I do my goals every like school semester, so I do
Yeah.
spring semester, which is January through basically early May, and then summer is mid-May through mid-August, and then August through December. So I'm actually looking at my goals.
I know.
I'm reevaluating my goals next week, actually. So I'll let you know when we get there. But I do know hip-wise, we're definitely improving, and I do know lifting-wise, we're getting closer. Got some furniture, so the house is coming together. All that good stuff. But I'll get into more of my stuff in a second here.
Some of the goals, cold tub every day. Well, I just got the cold tub set up last day of the month, so that one, then you finish. Meditate. Meditate was hard.
I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I feel like if I was meditating, it's in the sauna. So I probably hit sauna about 5 days out of the week on average every week.
Jeez.
That's probably 6. Every day got a sauna. So I'd say that's close. 75% I hit. Journal every day, so 10 days straight now. I said a 1-day hike. And that was along with travel. Like another thing was travel. So I took that spontaneous trip. So
Is this for the whole year, or
this is just April. A few ones I wrote down for April that are just in my notes. So that was nice. So cross ones off.
you're doing pretty good, sounds like.
Read a book. I think I'm halfway through What Happened to You, so I didn't quite hit that one. And then practice writing my board, which I think I wrote one day last month. So but it really wasn't warm, which sucked. Like every day I'd try and get out. It's cold and
windy.
Yeah.
See, I was talking to people. I feel like this has been one of the windiest springs, and people are like, "No, it's been normal." Do you think it's been windy?
Yes.
So I'm not just crazy.
Yeah, but also we went to UNI, so I want to say it's windier than normal.
Yeah, but I mean, for Des Moines, I think it's windy.
Yeah, I just don't think it's like really out of the ordinary. I'd say. I think windy wise, kind of.
Yeah.
I'd say it's been windier than windy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty windy. I know a couple. Every time I try to do a kick lesson, it seems to be like raining or windy or cold. One of those three always happens.
Yeah.
But I do think for my stuff in April, I'm just gonna kind of go off on a tangent. I think the biggest thing is that I'm learning as I go. Because I've talked about the business law. I got a business bank account now. Got a business credit card now. I already have expenses put on. So now it's about finishing up the last steps of the website and having the confidence to actually put sessions into work. Does that make sense? Not just having the tools, but actually like physically doing it is the next step. So I think learning about that, how to manage it, how to manage the money, how to get everything started. I've just really learned a lot in April, and I said that I think in March as well. Also learned about housing in April, like mortgages and putting money down and kind of all the different, like what ARMs are, 5-year, 7-year, et cetera, and rates, and just going along with the stock market, learning about EPS and shares and I guess what's earnings, that kind of stuff. Just kind of where the economy's going and when things might go up or down. I think learning a little bit at a time of little things. Another thing is kids, like how to deal with having a baby or what it might look like for a newborn. Just talking with some friends that have kids, because I feel like everybody's starting to have a kid or about to have a kid. So learning that has been really
not.
cool. So that my wife and I have kids someday that we're a little bit more prepared. Definitely, she knows way more about it than I do, which is probably good.
I feel like it's pretty normal.
Yeah, but I just think like learning as you go, like to have the experience is how you learn, and you got to be okay with that. So I've been really, what's the word? Gracious
Yeah.
about learning just a little bit of steps, a little bit at a time for certain steps. That made me really, really happy. Oh, also learning, Whoop got a new update. So now you can do a strength finder. So like you write down, it's kind of crappy because you have to write down your workout and then do the workout live. So, but it shows your strain a lot better. It shows you need a lot more sleep. So like an instance of me learning a little bit is I typed in my workout just to see about it. And it shows you your cardio versus strength. And then it changes your bedtime because my day strain used to be like a 13 on average, we'll say. Now it's like a 15.5 because it went so much more about strength and realized that I need more sleep because I'm working out harder than it realized before because it didn't do like musculoskeletal system before. Now it does. So when I like would sleepwalk and stuff before, I thought I was getting enough sleep and I thought it was just stress, but really I've never been getting enough sleep. I need a lot of sleep, I've learned.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So, how many hours is it saying?
Well, like last week I only got like 85% of my sleep every night. And before that, the week before was like 94. Yeah, last night I slept 7 hours and 37 minutes, and I was only 88%. But I was in bed for almost 10 hours.
Interesting.
So I was awake a lot of my sleep last night. So I think just knowing more about my body, working out, what affects me, supplement wise, played with fish oil a little bit, and
how's that?
It helps my HRV a lot. So HRV goes way up, but it also helps my digestive system. But it makes me kind of full. Like you just feel like you ate 2 pieces of salmon. So it takes a little bit to get used to. I used to do it at breakfast, but it does help. I do think with the omega-3 fatty acids is the main reason, obviously.
You're taking that every day then?
No, I haven't. I stopped after a while. I really stopped during Lent because I was having more fish. But I should get back onto it or into it because I did like it. But learned with that, body-wise, it's pretty interesting, I thought. And I'm definitely, so do you know your peak? You normally peak strength-wise, they say for competitions like quick twitch muscles usually peaks like 27, and we're at 27.
It's not good.
I know.
That's terrible.
But I feel like we're still getting stronger.
I'm only 23.
Yeah, me too.
No one else can tell me otherwise.
So I thought a lot about that. Let me see here. What else did I got? Oh, let's talk. So that's April. That's what I thought in April, right?
Yeah.
You got anything for? What questions did you write down for?
Yeah.
Assessment.
I think in April had a lot of growth, and that, but I didn't see like the full amount of growth that I wanted to see.
How do you measure that growth that you wanted to see?
Just through like self-assessment, and like I was just like reflecting upon like to me, like just looking at, so today's like May Day, so it's May 1st.
May Day.
And so we're one third the way through the year, and so kind of like looking back upon like the whole year, like where am I at, like where are my goals at. Sorry, I'm fixing the video for everyone who's just listening. Maybe that'll work. So kind of like I was just like reflecting like where my goals are and all that, and I just feel like I'm not pushing myself hard enough. like in everything that I'm doing. Kind of like I'm holding back. And I kind of reflected on that. Like, so there was like this quote that came up on TikTok, and he was talking about he's like having an argument with his wife, and then he had an argument with his wife, and he went to work. He's like, I'll just have a conversation with her when I get home, and everything will be fine. We'll work it all out. And his coworker says to him, he's like, who told you that? And him looking at confused, he's like, well, like I'll just go home and have a conversation like every other time we had an argument. He's like, no, who told you you're going to make it home? And so I kind of like reflect on that. Like as he talks about, he's like, it's a very true statement that like you never know like what the next moment of your life is planned has in store for you. And so kind of like just to live life to the fullest in every moment. It's kind of like the self assessment. I was like, that's such a true statement. It's like,
do you feel like you gotta work harder though?
Yeah, and harder is like a very relative term. I want to say more diligently. And that like I wrote down, so for my May goals is to document what I do every day, and that to become aware of like where my time is going, where my attention is going. Because I think in April, like I think I had a lot of growth. I think I've had a lot of growth in the last like 3 months, 4 months, but I haven't had diligent growth. And that like it's kind of like been here and there, but it's never been like consistent.
He talks about consistency and intensity.
Yeah, and like consistent,
and how hard it is to. It's easy to be intense a couple of days and then take 4 days off.
Yeah.
Consistency is much harder to reach than intensity.
Right.
Also, although intensity is scary sometimes.
Yeah. I was like thinking like consistency can like always be there. Like you can always show up better. Yes, you can always show up to the gym, or you can always show up to your work. But what's like the intensity behind your consistency? Yeah. And that because like consistently go to work, but like you consistently put in 100% effort in your work, in your job, or do you continuously put 100% effort every day in your workout or in your relationship?
Yeah, that's interesting because literally today, I'm doing this paper for my grad school, like my last paper, and it's a lit review, and I hate it because every other sentence I basically have to find some research article and reference it, right? And I hate research stuff. I literally wrote down, so on Friday, I was like, I need somebody who's good at research to help me learn this stuff and to do this paper for me because I can do the rest, right? But I need somebody to know the research part. And I realized that the only thing I've ever put time into in terms of like career-wise is sports, right? So that's why I've reaped the rewards of it or feel like I know what I'm talking about, right? I can be a personal trainer even though I'm not certified to be a personal trainer. I literally had a job offer I could do that.
Yeah.
I can teach people how to kick all day long. I can come up with different scenarios. I can come up with different lesson plans per se. But writing a research paper is so hard to me, so boring. And I don't go enough into detail, but in order to be a better mental performance coach, I need to look at research. I need to read about the research and then understand it and put it into practice somewhere. Otherwise, by me not being disciplined in doing that, because it all comes back to discipline in my opinion. If it's just willy-nilly, yeah, do this. It's supposed to be an hour session. I'm going to have a 10-minute session. Yeah, I think you need to have better cues. Here's some cues I would do when you're kicking. Think about the process, meaning think small jab, kick through the target line, and then go celebrate with teammates. Look, I can tell you that in 5 minutes. I can tell you the whole thing. So you're paying me for an hour of work. Okay, well, let's get into research. Why do cues work? What else can we do? Maybe there's something behind. There's something in your family life going on. Like I need to be, if I can't have the integrity to do the due diligence, like you were saying, then it's not going to be a good business. And you can't have that when the business becomes your livelihood or something you're good at, something you want to be good at, and that has to take a lot of time. Like I was really thinking like life is literally a process. It truly is. Just to learn and take the time to do something. Because you're gonna make mistakes as like a novice. Or if you're not putting enough time in because you're just willy-nilly about it. Like that's what I've learned this semester or this third of the year is that you've got to put effort into something, like 100% of your effort, like you were saying, in order to be good at it. Otherwise, it's never going to be as fulfilling as it could, and it's never going to reach its full potential of what you could make it become, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's something else too that you said that I was like, wow, I literally had that too. I don't remember. Did I hit everything that you said?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
I've had a lot of good stuff. But yeah, so I was like, that's what I was reflecting on today, like heavy in assessing, and I was like, dang, I'm just like what you're saying, like willy-nilly in it, and then like I found growth, but it was willy-nilly growth, like it wasn't like,
lasting.
yes, like disciplined, dedicated growth, like
Sustained.
through.
Like you've changed as
Yeah.
a person. It's just
Yeah,
It's like your muscles got bigger because you've been taking creatine or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not once you got off creatine, it's gonna go a little bit lower.
yeah,
You go on sustaining growth.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I don't know, I saw is like just through like what my body's saying, and that like I think you really like assess through like what Whoop tells you, and that cause at the end of the day, if you took your Whoop off, do you think you'd have the same mindset towards your recovery?
I've always been towards the mindset of my recovery. I think I definitely tried to go to bed a little earlier, or calm myself. The big thing is the stress. I learned my stress is high, and sometimes I can't fall asleep as well.
Yeah.
So that having that knowledge is good.
Does your Whoop keep you more disciplined and like recovery or like and understanding your body?
I would say yes. Sometimes if I want to have a drink or whatever, I just don't listen to it. But I won't have a drink if I know that the next day is going to be challenging or that I just had a challenging day. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it makes me be more aware about it. Really of everything. But I'm not very good at listening when I have a low recovery. I still stick to the schedule of Sunday's my day off. So if Saturday I have a low recovery, I still do my workout.
Mm-hmm.
So but today my recovery is low, so I didn't do CrossFit. I just did my lift. So I'm trying. I said I was going to get better at that. That's one thing I haven't reached in my goals. But I do think. Oh, that's what I was going to say. With your consistency and intensity, because you're like I got to work harder, right? So instantly I thought of because last week I was like I need to work harder because I switched I'm doing like a hypertrophy phase now. If you guys don't know hypertrophy is, it's like when you do high volume but lower weight. So basically, it makes your physical muscles are getting bigger during hypertrophy. For strength training, the fibers are just kind of tensing up, and you're just gonna get stronger, not physically bigger. But anyways, I was like, am I working hard enough? Because my Whoop has changed versus CrossFit's data is already high, so now they're even higher. So I was like, do I work hard enough? And I was thinking, I work 6 days out of the week. I'm working out.
Yeah.
And five of those days are pretty tough workouts, and 4 of those days are a lot of nervous system breakdown. Like I need high recovery. Although you can do hypertrophy every 3 hours if you keep it low, but that's something I'm looking into with research. Anyways, saw it on a podcast, heard it on a podcast. But I was thinking like, if you can just be consistent and do it daily, you don't have to work as hard. Like I read 6 pages a day minimum. So if you read 6 pages a day, you have a book done in a month easy. You know what I mean? So you can do a little bit, you say, rather than, okay, this day I need to read 50 pages and then not read for 10 days.
Right.
So I just think a little bit at a time, you get that constant growth a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is sometimes good too. So instead of doing willy-nilly stuff, like just do a little bit, really, like I do sign language now, and I really focus on it for like 5 minutes a day, and then I'm just done with it. Because I can spend 5 minutes on something, no big deal.
Yeah.
You can literally do it as I stretch in the morning. So I think that's an easy way to be more diligent on something without spending a lot of time or energy or having it weigh you down. Just my thought, I guess.
Yeah, so like that's kind of like how I listen to it. Like I don't have the Whoop anymore, but just like listening to what my body says, and that no, it's the way like I listen. Like what's my mind saying? Like what's my mental saying? Am I speaking to myself like positively or negatively? Is another way I assess myself.
Those are good.
Uh,
Positive or negative.
Yeah, because I think it's very hard to continuously positively talk to yourself, and that like so I think like it just comes like when you find yourself talking to yourself negatively, like flipping the switch, like instead of like dogging on yourself or like being at yourself, like ask questions like why are you talking to yourself negatively or like, and that
I think a little bit. So I wrote down something. I wrote down the very first thing I wrote down actually was learning. So I've already talked a lot about learning, and I wrote down learning your purpose. So I think
Yeah.
if you need experiences for a reason. So I love how you look at like I'm talking excuse me, I'm talking to myself negatively here. Okay, why am I talking to myself negative? What experience did I have
Yes.
that I didn't like or didn't value?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So now I can better myself the next time.
Exactly.
Or I had this experience and I was really confident in myself. Okay, like let's keep going down that path because I feel like I'm becoming a better person by doing that. If you want to like enhance the good and then correct the bad, I think having like experiences really do matter. And that's with my course. Like I'm never going to write a research paper again probably, but learning how to do that, it really matters. And that's like what the liberal arts core is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Is just give you a wide variety of stuff and have experiences and to know what's going on. Like I always say grades don't matter, and that's true, but experiences do matter, and how you talk to yourself matters in those experiences.
And that exactly like goes into my what I like had written down next is like when like the next thing like I assess myself on is like what does my environment and what did my goal say?
Yeah.
And so like if I'm talking to myself positively, okay, like what environment am I in? What goal am I focused on? Like where am I at? If I'm talking to myself negatively, where's my environment? What's my goals? And then it goes back into like what your body's saying. So it all connects. Like when I guess I'm self-assessing, like all my stuff connects into one just to see where I'm at.
Yeah. So if you made like a bubble and you put yourself inside of a circle, you put your friends inside of a circle, you put your career inside of a circle, you put your faith inside of a circle, and you make like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
In the middle, those goals should reach all 5 of those circles. And then that's when you know you're doing it the right way. Because whatever experience you had, if it's meeting those goals, then you're definitely getting better. And even if you feel like, well, we can go back to the diligence thing here. Even if you feel you're not so-called locked into them, you're still getting better just because you're surrounding yourself in all the right boxes. Everything's coming together. And then eventually you'll realize, like, hey, now I'm proficient. So I wrote down efficiency comes after proficiency. So now you're proficient, you're hitting every box. So now how can we be more efficient? How can we make it better? You know, so another way to look at it is you have a macro setup, right? I need this, this, and this to come together, and in order to reach this point, right? So that's the macro thing. You're trying to reach the overall end goal, whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
But then microly, on this day I have to do this. On this day I need to do this. I need to focus on this task for 30 minutes, and then go the next one, and then the next one, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to get into a lot more science here in a second. Yeah, I'm gonna feel smart here. All right, so I'm gonna feel smart. Taylor said, "Uh-oh." So here we go. So there's something called self-determination theory, right? I wrote a lot about this today, so I was just like, you know what, this can probably fit in the episode.
All right.
So self-determination theory basically is when you are self-determination, right? You are intrinsically motivated to hit your 5 circles I just talked about. So you have your family, your environment, yourself, your career, whatever it is, your faith, and then in the middle of that is goals, like I just said. So self-determination theory, you need to feel competent, meaning you're confident you can do it. You need to have autonomy, meaning it's on your own, right? So you're going to have all those, and then you have to feel, I guess, welcomed, loved, or feel whatever you want to say for the non-psychological word. But you're going to have basically those three feelings of need are going to be met. Okay, so when you have those met, then your goals line up. So now you're motivated to reach those goals, right? You write down the goals. Now you're even more intrinsically motivated because you have the goals wrote down. Then you talk about those goals. And self-determination theory is once you get those goals met, you want to meet them again. Right? So you've talked to yourself positively, like you were saying. Then you're going to keep going to the next spot. Okay, so now I'm proficient in it, right? I've done my writing in my journal every day. So I wrote down what I've done every day, like you said. Now, how can I take it to the next level? How can I be efficient? In my writing, I wasn't very clear about what my goals were for sitting in the cold tub. Okay, so next time I'm going to write, today I sat in the cold tub for 5 minutes. Instead of, I'm going to sit in the cold tub today, or I sat in the cold tub today, I sat in it for 5 minutes. I felt this during it. So in the next month,
your goals become more detailed.
Yeah, it's just now you're everything's to the next level, right? So efficiency, you're going up, you're going up, you're going up, and next thing you know, cold tub is not even something you have to think about every day. It's just a non-negotiable. You do it, 5 minutes, done. Because you know that 7 minutes is too long and 3 minutes isn't enough. So you know it's 5 minutes. So you surround your day with those 5 minutes. For me to write, I can write in the cold tub now because it doesn't bother me. So now not only are you saving 5 minutes somewhere else, but you're efficient. You have everything down to a science. It's detailed. And then you can work on that goal in another area. Next thing you know, you're compounding your interest, getting better. And it's all because you're literally determined to do it over and over. That's like what I think is the best version of self-determination theory.
Yeah. But especially like when you like find yourself hitting those small goals and that's where that determination is to come down to hit that next goal, hit that next level, is when you find yourself rewarded through those small steps, through that process.
And going on that, you can even find your purpose on it because you're learning the right things.
Yeah.
See, it's all coming together.
Have you ever heard of a speaker called Jordan Peterson?
Dude, yeah, I know who Jordan Peterson is.
You remind me of him.
No, dude, I don't like him.
Really?
I like his stuff. I don't like the way he comes off, but he's definitely.
You remind me of him, how you speak, how you talk about that.
By the way, the word I couldn't when I said like lovey-dovey or whatever, like the needs need to be met at a basic level. The word I was looking for was relatedness. Relatedness, because you have to feel like it's part of who you are, which is where I get the purpose. But anyways.
Yeah, you remind like how you describe things like reminds me.
I don't know why. Why do you think that?
Because I think your mind gets going and like
how like he
and what?
That's why I need to write stuff down.
Yeah, but like how he like describes things is like so profound, like so profoundly, but so like obscurely that like it applies to everything and nothing all at the same time.
Yeah, that's a lot of psychology in general.
Yeah, and I think that's how that's how you talk. That's how like I hear a lot of your things.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It just makes so much sense when you see it. Like on a piece of paper or whatever. And it's so true. If the goals don't line up and then you're not determined to do it, it's never going to happen. And then your purpose is never going to be reached. But you really do go from, you have to have an end goal.
Yeah.
It's so organized to me in steps that it just comes out. That's what my wife and I talk about this all the time. I need to give the audience a better idea of what I'm like trying to say.
Yeah. And that's why I just wrote it down. Because like, I think Jordan Peterson's like probably started off just like you, like how you talk about things.
He's also way smarter than I am.
That man is very smart. But I think like he started out talking like how you talk, and then he kind of perfected.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason doing podcast and speaking. But also, I kick a ball further than he can.
Probably the man's also like 6'70".
Oh, when he was our age, I can still do it better. Anyways,
you also practiced it while he was out there getting.
Hey, I'm just saying I'm better at something. I'm seeing the price tag. basically, to sum it up, if you have different cycles of your life, or not cycles, well, that too, different sections of your life,
Yeah.
in the middle, goals need to overlap those sections.
Yeah.
And if you are first, you need to be proficient in those things. Like you first need to be knowing how to get there.
Yeah.
You need to know a result that you are looking for, and then you need to put in the work to do that. And in order to put in the work, you're going to have to be determined and set goals. Once you reach one goal, you're going to want to reach another because you see yourself getting better.
Yeah.
Right. If I see myself getting stronger, I'm going to keep doing that because I know I got stronger.
Yeah.
And then in the end, once you realize that you are kind of like leveling off a little bit, then it's start to think, okay, what's the next step? And you reevaluate like we're doing for self-assessment. How do I make it cleaner? How do I make it quicker? How do I make it more efficient? Then you take that level, and everybody's scenario is different. So we have to rearrange some things. Next thing you know, that micro or that macro goal of yours just is almost there because you are microly attaching yourself to it every day. I don't even know if microly is a word. Anyways, do it right the first time. Be disciplined. Have diligence. I mean, all that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people aren't going to get it right the first time.
Yeah, I mean, put the time in, not just be willy-nilly.
Yeah.
But I get your point, yes.
Because I think that's where like a lot of it comes from. Like you don't get it right the first time, but you're determined. You're like you have that like determination to like get better, want to get better.
And you know what?
And that like kind of like you in Spanish, you in sign language, like you have like this determination to like get better every day. And that's what I'm saying. And so I think like one thing that you do really well is like biting little chunks. Like you do it for 5 minutes, and then after that 5 minutes, like okay, you move it on. Like you're satisfied with what you did in your 5 minutes. And that I think a lot of people just like look at like, oh, I want to learn sign language, and then or like I want to learn Spanish, I want to learn French, and then get deterred after the first day when they've done 20 minutes of it and didn't retain one thing. So I think you're very on spot with like little chunks, little steps, and that 5 minutes each day. Okay. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is hard for you to learn a language, to meditate, to walk. Okay, we're gonna cut it back down. Okay, we're gonna do 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
If that's hard for you, okay, we're gonna cut down to a minute. Yeah. And then when you find that goal, like you continue to build onto it. And farther you build onto it, the more consistent you get. The better you want to be, the more like, and that. So then assessment comes in like, okay, I can do 2 minutes now. Okay, so let me define it. I can do 5 minutes.
Yeah, I also think so we can use a Spanish example. If you're doing Spanish and you can't do the 20 minutes, you can't do the 5 minutes, and you just keep trying the same program, I mean, you're just going insane. Mm-hmm. You gotta self-assess, reevaluate in the middle of it. This isn't working for me. Okay, go to a different Spanish app, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So when my wife and I were first started dating, we were doing like Bible studies, and she didn't like the way we were doing the Bible because she didn't get anything out of it. Mm-hmm. So instead of just reading the Bible, doing the same thing we've done, we changed it up to try to have something different to make it so she could grow. Okay. And therefore, I'm growing too because I'm doing it a different way.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are just like, oh, I can't do it anymore. No, you can't do it for this. Or maybe you're not intrigued by this. Mm-hmm. So then try a different route, and that's a little bit better probably. Also, tell me what you think about this conversation. I had this conversation with Nate. I hope Nate's listening to this. So we disagreed on the topic.
What's the topic?
You just kind of talked about it, how people mess up the first time a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he's like, I don't go to my parents for anything. I just go to friends or just do it myself because I need to learn to make the mistake or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Which is true. But I was like, I always at least ask my parents, and if I don't want to take their advice, I don't have to. Mm-hmm. But I can at least ask them to see if I can avoid making some mistakes because they're 50 and I'm half their age.
That's very true.
So
yeah,
I can see both ways. We just disagreed on how we actually act. But
I think both of y'all right. I mean, like all y'all, like you're asking advice through your parents, and he's asking advice through friends or coworkers. So eventually, you guys are both asking advice.
Yeah, but he just kind of does his own more, I think, probably.
Yeah, and again, like, there's not a right or wrong answer.
No, I know. I just
So
want to get
I'm-
your opinion.
To me, like I'm probably gonna ask my dad for like first, like thinking. It depends on the
I
situation.
feel like you're kind of
Like,
in the middle of it.
yeah, like it really depends on the situation. Like if I just called him the other day, talking to him because I want to get a Bronco or I want to get a 4Runner, and I was talking to him about like prices and like trading in my car and all that stuff. And my dad's very scared of like where the government's going and where like the world's going. So like he always has like a very, I won't say a cynical side, but a very like realistic possibility in that like at any point like the world can flip. Like what we just had 4 banks go bankrupt or
Well,
whatever.
JP Morgan just bought them out.
Yeah, I know, but like at the end of the day, like
Wild.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like 4 banks still went bankrupt, and that so like very realistic stuff, and but then like also at the same point, like I can also talk to other like I talk to you, I talk to my coworkers. I feel like a lot about like certain stuff. So I guess it just depends. Like if I'm going to talk about relationship stuff, I'm more likely going to call you before I call my dad. And then just because I think like, again, like depends on like my dad spent his whole life buying, selling cars, and I like, we're like,
That's where your network really does matter, though.
yeah,
Like, you can find an expert.
like yeah, like or like when I really like, when I really decide to buy one, like I'm probably gonna call Ben, and that you can go through him or ask questions, like depending on what I get. And but if I'm asking him like relationship advice, like
Yeah, I just my big thing with the conversation was it's hard to know the line between making your own mistake and finding that or having that experience versus trying to avoid the mistake but possibly having your decision weighed some other way and not going the route you actually wanted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very like black and white or gray, not black and white to me.
So yeah, which is also valid because like I was thinking, so like I went on like that solo adventure 2 weeks ago to South Dakota.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anyone, like besides you, and that.
A good thing nothing happened because I would have had to go to South Dakota.
No, I mean more people found out like as I was like going throughout my trip.
Yeah.
Just because I had to communicate with my boss and all that. I had to communicate to a few coworkers, and then I communicated with my mom, and so she was asking when I was gonna be home or if I like was coming home, and but she was like, I won't say she was scared, but she was like nervous. She's like, oh, all by yourself, like this, that, and the other. And if I would call her and be like, hey, like I'm gonna do the solo travel, like she would like, yeah, and that like so sometimes like I don't call my parents for like certain advice. Like I'll just do things and then just see where it takes me. If it bites me in the butt, it bites me in the butt. And at the end of the day, like it's a learning experience either way. Either we learn in a positive way or we learn in a negative way.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're still growing, you're still learning, you're still progressing. And that like if I decide to go out and run a marathon tomorrow, I'd probably do it. I'm gonna learn all the lessons, but it's probably not gonna be a positive thing, you know.
You'd be surprised. That's what I did for the marathon row, and it worked out okay.
I just feel like I'm gonna
Took a
need
lot of
medical
Vitargo.
attention. Yeah.
You can take a lot of Vitargo.
What's crazy? I was getting on the gym bag and I had to grab my headphones. Grab my headphones out of my bag. It clipped my Vitargo. My Vitargo must have not been spun on all the way. All over the backseat of my car.
Oh.
Literally,
What
probably.
flavor was it?
It's not water. It had like it's probably like a scoop worth. I mean, I need to buy more. Yeah, it's like a scoop and a half worth.
He's my kid.
I need to.
Hashtag A.
I need to get more, especially now that I like am running and working. More,
I do think
cardio.
endurance wise, I definitely need more. Well, just carbs in general, but Vitargo is usually my carbs because it's so easy during the workout.
Yeah,
definitely helps.
But yeah, I was like, damn. And the cleaning it up.
Not fun.
Yeah, there's still. I need to go vacuum it because it's still there. It looks like I have cocaine in the back of my car.
Watermelon flavor. That's funny.
I was like, it was terrible. I was like, it instantly made me like.
upset mood. You want to work out. I was like, I can't believe I just dumped that everywhere. That's fun.
On Thursday, we'll let people know if you cleaned it up or not.
Not really, because it's still gonna be.
I was just saying. I got nothing else on some.
No.
I do want to have the other conversation for the 1440 though.
Right.
It's actually really important to me. I went on Twitter rant with it.
Okay.
No joke.
Okay.
All right, we'll catch you later, guys.
All right. Love you. Bye.